What's up guys, it's Aliss here, and it's about that time of the year again, so I'm going to be telling you my top 5 favorite MOP creepypastas. Now without further ado, let's get right into the video. Number 5 on my list would have to be The Experiments of Twilight Sparkle. Now the story starts off with Twilight asking all of her friends to help her with an experiment, but what they don't know is that Twilight plans on dissecting and performing lethal experiments on all of them. Now, when they ask her about her motive, it turns out that Twilight is 100% sane and is doing this for her experiments, and in general, it's just a really creepy factor to know that Twilight, a generally calm pony, is doing this for her studies. Number 4 on my list would have to be Something Sweet to Bite. Something Sweet to Bite starts off with the Cutie Mark Crusaders making treats for their class for Nightmare Night, but in the process they accidentally bring back an ancient monster called the Candy Mare. Now the Candy Mare was an experiment of an evil pony who wanted to basically test candies with magic infused with them. Now one of his experiments was on a child, and the child wouldn't die from his experiments, and it turns out that she became very much a candy monster with a thirst for blood and flesh. Now, after a while, the Candy Mare was eventually put to rest by Princess Luna, but when they were brought back, the Candy Mare kills all the inhabitants of Ponyville and eventually raids Canterlot. It ends with the Candy Mare confronting Princess Luna, and there are a few sequels to the stories, but I'm not gonna spoil that. Number 3 on my list would probably have to be the most cliche story out there, but it's gonna have to be Cupcakes. Now, Cupcakes starts off with Pinkie Pie asking her friend Rainbow Dash to come to her house so they can just hang out, right? Now, Pinkie Pie asks Rainbow Dash if she wants to help bake cupcakes. She then offers the cupcake to Rainbow Dash, in which Rainbow Dash eats, but then she passes out. Rainbow Dash wakes up in a dark cellar, which we can only presume is underground. And there is Pinkie Pie. She then cuts off Rainbow Dash's wings, injects adrenaline into her beating hearts, and basically dissects Rainbow Dash. Then, once Rainbow Dash is dead, she eventually finds out a way to salvage the body in which she can make a mannequin off of it. And then she plans that once her friends' numbers roll up, she would do the same thing to them so they can be with her forever. Number 2 on my list would have to be the Cutie Mark Crusaders. Now, the story basically tells what happens to the young fillies and coats who do not get their cutie mark. Now, it starts off by them finding 3 little fillies to play with, and by the end of the year and at the first day of summer, they disappear. It is unknown to what happens to these children until they eventually check the barn of Sweet Apple Acres and they find the bodies of all the children who've gone missing. Now, what's really the scary part is who's behind all the killings. Years before, the Cutie Mark Crusaders died, and their spirits eventually haunt Ponyville, and they eventually take the lives of all the fillies and coats who passed. It is unknown why they do this, but what we do know is that they went far before they got their cutie marks. Now, my all-time top MOP creepypasta would have to be Rocket to Insanity. Now, this story is the unofficial sequel to the pasta Cupcakes. It starts off with Rainbow Dash waking up from the dream, which is Cupcakes. This dream then continues to haunt her for months, until eventually she loses sight on what is real and what is fantasy. Pinkie Pie invites her over, and she ends up offering a cupcake to Rainbow Dash. Now, Rainbow Dash, at that moment, she's gripped in fear and she grabs a knife. She then stabs Pinkie Pie in the cheek, and then she continues to kill her. Now, the real scary part of this is just seeing Rainbow Dash's descent into utter insanity, and the fact that you do not know if Pinkie Pie was truly planning on killing Rainbow Dash. So anyways, guys, thank you all for listening. I know this is my first video and all, but yeah, they will get better. I'm not exactly used to commentating and all, but hopefully that'll get better. I'll leave all the stories with the links to read them, so in case you want, and I'll link all the artwork used. So yeah, anyways, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like, and if you enjoyed the content I produce currently, subscribe. It means a lot. And yeah, see you all later. Bye bye. Love you all.